And the star of the show today, retired for the Marine Corps in New Orleans, full-time real estate investor, ready to dominate the market and build a world-class network. First podcast, Jeff Wunder.
Right.
Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, Pablo.
It is good to have you on, my friend. Jeff, man, you're the star of the show. Tell us a little bit about your investing experience.
Well, my investing experience, I guess if I go back to where it kind of all started, I could probably go back to a young 21-year-old Marine going on duty, barracks duty, to sit there for the next 24 hours. And as I'm going on duty, the off duty, he hands me a book. And everybody, I'm sure a lot of people know this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yes.
And so as I'm sitting there on duty, I was like, I'm reading the book. I'm like, wow. And I guess that's where I say that kind of planted a seed to start thinking about investing, thinking about money differently. And so that seed was there, but it took a long time for that seed to germinate, just life. And I had a career and stuff going on. So I fast forward to about 10, 11 years later, I'm 32 and I'm like, I need to get in this real estate game. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I need to get in it. And literally I'm walking down, I'm in Carlsbad, California, walking down the street, and I would go by a real estate office and they're advertising all their property shit. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I go in there, I just start talking to a realtor. I'm like, I want to buy a house. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I want to buy a house. So that's kind of, and then I did end up buying a house, and that's kind of, I mean, I could go more into that, but that's kind of like, wow, this is like pretty cool. And then I just started developing more and more and learning more, as what I'd come to find out later is like, there's so much more you need to learn to be a better investor.
I love that, man. I love that Genesis story. Why don't you just let us know kind of like, what are your real estate holdings, or your investing holdings in general?
Right now I'm sitting at, I got 6 properties with 8 doors. So sitting here in New Orleans, I got a couple doubles, which I love multifamily. And then I have a single family in Memphis, a single family in Houston, and then I got a couple there in Jacksonville, Florida. So
got it. And you said you're part of like a commercial deal too, right?
I'm a part of Fortune Builders.
Yeah.
Those guys, you probably heard them advertise on your radio, trying to sell you their education program. I bought in that community, and one of the things they offer is their students is investment deals to invest in large commercial properties to be a part of that group. I found out I'm an uncredited investor, and you learn all about being accredited and uncredited investor. And so I own a part of a strip mall there in San Antonio, Texas right now. And that's a good deal too. I get money coming in on a quarterly basis on that one. And so that's where I sit at right now. And
I love you've already gotten to this like diversified portfolio. You're clearly doing some active, some passive, getting into commercial for right now. Are you ready to show here kind of like how your properties are performing? You excited for this?
Yeah, I'm always, I love to get my updates, especially when the money's coming in.
All right. So here's your properties, right? So it looks like you
Yeah.
bought one mid-2021, and then you bought right at the beginning of February 2022. Here's your purchase price. You financed both of these. Like you said, you stayed true to this sub 200,000. Jeff, I know that JWB in the process, they like to start with your why. What was your why when they asked you that?
My goal is I want to be able to just go and have the time to live the best life I can. I mean, in a nutshell, I was like, as I said, I retired from the military. I don't want to have a second career. I'm sure it's funny. I'm 41. I turned 42 in a couple of weeks here, and I'm retired. And I was like, man, I've put in a lot of time and effort into stuff. I want to go be able to enjoy it, and having like passive income. I saw that as my opportunity to be able to go enjoy life and do what I want to do on my terms. I guess life design, if you want to say it.
Love that, dude. Okay, so this is the summary of your investments so far, man, right? So when you take the whole portfolio since midway through 2021 to now, your net rental income, when you subtract what you're getting monthly minus mortgage, minus the money that you put in, it's a little bit negative, 2,104. So you're not living off of this money, right? You're not using this. Are you getting positive rental in your pocket every month? Or is this kind of like is this how it feels? Like, have you come out of pocket $2,000?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So I would
No,
assume.
I mean, no, because the web, I mean, I'm looking.
Yeah.
Because I got my sheet here in front of me. No, I'm not coming out of pocket on this thing. I mean, yeah, on my one I just closed on. Yeah, I'm a little bit out of pocket right now, just because, like I said, we're just, I got some purchasing fees. But the other one, that one, like Lowell, I'm not seeing. No, I don't see it. I mean, because some of the, I mean, you look at some of those numbers they're subtracting. I'm not seeing it on, like, we're looking at real, like, today, month to month, because you got some of your maintenance fees that are equated in there, or you got your vacancy fees, right? So you actually kind of won't see those until you like look in the long term, but on the month to month, I got money coming in on these things.
So I'm assuming that you're taking the money from these things and paying down whichever one your oldest mortgages that you have going on.
Yeah, yes, I got I'm doing the oldest one, and everything is for the most part. It's actually, I mean, maybe that might be a topic for another discussion, or you probably had, was like, how much, like, a safety net or contingency funds should I be holding in the bank versus trying to pay down these mortgages as quick as I could? Because I keep going, I was like, do I need 6 months of rent reserves, or do I need, but then I was like, well, do I need to have my insurance deductible in there? Should I add those two together? So that's just kind of
what's your approach right now, man? Like, what are you holding? Are you accounting for rent? Are you accounting for all that stuff?
Yeah. Not right now. Right now, it's just rent, holding on the 6 months reserve in there, and right now I just keep thinking about it. Should I be holding on more or whatnot? And then I kind of just research some, go on the internet and try to see what other people are doing. But right now it's just 6 months, and then I evaluate whether I should be more cautious, especially as we're looking at the writing on the wall, what kind of just the bear market and possible recessions. Like, yeah, maybe I should hold on to a little bit more. So I guess it's just a personal comfort, personal risk kind of question you really have to ask yourself.
Yeah, that's a great nugget, man. All right, so rental income has been negative, but not really coming out of your pocket. Tax savings, that's $1,600 in tax savings. Your total pay down so far in just less than a year, it's paid down $1,376 of your debt, and your home price appreciation, you got in at a good time, man. Already under a year, 78 grand, man. What do you think about when you see that?
Right now, I think I was like, I gotta get off my ass, and I gotta go and see how I can pull some of that, maybe pull some of that equity out of there to get to another house. I guess it's a good news story for me. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's what I think too, man. And then this consumer price index, right? Like, it's kind of hard to quantify inflation hedging, but this like 8.6% is what's happening right now. But overall, man, your expected ROI on your properties was 9.2%. When you subtract the closing costs that it would take to sell, your actual ROI is, in under a year, 36.7%. So is JW beating expectations? Yes. Like, what do you think about that, man? What do you think about this idea of like 36% ROI in under a year?
That's crazy. It doesn't seem real. It's like, what you got? I got some charlatans over there. What are you guys doing? Just making these numbers up? But nah, it's nice to see. It really does.
So what Greg does is he'll go in and look at comps and look at what the sales price would be, and then subtract closing costs. So this is really, if you cashed out right now, this would be your ROI, which I think is pretty sweet, which I know you're not going to do because you're a buy and hold. And then something that we like to show here is this idea, right? Like, we talked about how some folks consider cash flow as a primary driver. When you look at some of these investments, right, and the value of investing in Jacksonville is this idea, right? Like, this is it by profit center. Your cash flow is obviously not here because it's been actually negative based on your down payment and what you're making in cash flow. Tax savings is a small sliver, principal pay down small sliver, but thus far your ROI has been this giant piece of the majority of the pie has been this appreciation. So we always like to represent it on screen here.
Might have to start paying more attention to that number now. So
that's why we do it, right? Like, it's this idea that if you really see the benefit and the equity, and that you can then use that equity for other things, paying attention to that when you're picking out your market, right? Like, paying this, I think Jacksonville is 4.6% historical average home price appreciation, and it's been going gangbusters the past couple of years, obviously. But when you compare it to these other cash flow markets of like 1% or 2%, and you're getting twice as much home price appreciation, that sliver of pie that we're looking at becomes a real significant piece. So
Mhm.
Well, cool, man. What are your overall thoughts when going through this? I know that there's the ROI portal. Do you ever go to that thing, like the JWB like online portal? You ever spend any time there? Is this the first time that you're looking at these numbers?
I'll go on there at least once a month, probably about twice a month. I'll go in there just to kind of see what's going on.
Okay.
Definitely, as everybody's one of those rent checks coming. So as soon as I see the bank, oh, you get a payment. I was like, oh, let me go. Let me. Okay, I got the money. Let's go see what else is going on.
Cool.
Especially when you don't get all the money you think you're getting. And you're like, whoa, what happened?
What happened, man? Yeah.
So, and they're like, oh, you had a maintenance cost. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Okay.
Maintenance
Cool, man.
happens.
Well, I guess big takeaway, give like an overall piece of advice of your journey, something that you think people should know about.
I guess the big thing is like what everybody always says: get involved earlier. The earlier, the better. You just got to educate yourself. That's another big financial education. That's one of my big things. You talk about what I want to probably get involved is try to get more financial education to the youth out there to teach them all this stuff, because this country, my opinion, I love this country, but it does a terrible job at teaching people financial education. And I think that just makes so much stuff better. And then, I mean, you always say, I mean, everybody always, compares to what do you talk about the stock market, and you look at what it's doing right now, and you're just, what are you really holding on to? But with real estate, you got a physical asset, something that's going to appreciate. Someone's always going to need somewhere to live. So that's one of the things I love about real estate. And then it's just another way to diversify what you're investing in, other than the stock market or real estate, or if you're buying businesses, or you try to get involved in crypto recently. So I'd say, and it's a fun community too, which I found out about as well. As I've been involved in JWB, really meeting you, Pablo. I'm involved in my local real estate investors associations and meet these people. And it's like a lot of people, they have really good mindset and a lot of good looking for the future and growth. And that's like that. And where I'm at in my personal life, those are the kind of people I want to be around. People who are optimistic, even though everybody, you read the news and they're pending this bear market, a pending recession, inflation. Is like, on the real estate, we're like, hey, okay, that's what's going on. How do we solve that? How do our own little real estate little bubble it's a bubble, but and our little, because it means different words in finance, right?
Yeah,
it means different words in finance. So let me choose and our little community, our little real estate. How do we solve that problem? How do we protect ourselves from all this stuff that's going on in the rest of the world? So that's what I like about real estate.
I love that, man. I really appreciate you doing this, man. Thank you for your service.